right, my name is James Forrest. Welcome to the Power Pitch Making a Great First Impression webinar. We have Liz Brazil here, who is one of our procurement specialists with Norcal PTAC. She will be doing the main presentation. We are the Northern California Procurement Technical Assistance Center, Norcal PTAC for short. And we are going to be giving you the main presentation, but I do want to give you a bit about our program first before I hand things over to Liz. So we are a nonprofit set up to help small businesses achieve success in the government marketplace. We're funded primarily by the Defense Logistics Agency, that's the DLA. We also get extra grant funding from the state mostly, and also local funds. All of this means that we provide all of our services to the public at no cost. We are sponsored by the Humboldt State University Sponsored Programs Foundation. That's our host up in Arcata, California, where that red star is. And last year, Norcal PTAC actually helped our clients win more than $268 million in government contracts, and we're on track to exceed that figure this year. Every PTAC provides 3 basic core services, and this is how we help our clients win those contracts. These are all provided at no cost to you. The first is one-on-one counseling. Procurement specialists such as Liz here can help you individually with just about any government contracting topic you can think of. So if your business is located in one of these areas in green, then you're eligible to apply. We can meet you with via phone or video conference over email, and we can walk you through the many processes of selling your goods and services to the government. Second thing we offer are these regular virtual workshops. In normal times, we also have in-person workshops. These are all on government contracting topics that we devise that we think are going to be helpful for you. So these are open to anyone to join from anywhere. You don't have to be in our service area here. You can check out our website at norcalptech.org/calendar to find more upcoming events, and I'll be going over some of those at the end of the presentation before the Q&A. The third thing, this is pretty neat, is this bid matching service that we pay for and we can set up for our clients. So again, this is if you're in our counties and you apply to become a client, we can set you up with a bid matching service that gives you daily access to federal, state, local, and even prime contractor opportunities. This allows you to stay on top of the opportunities available to you. So, if your business is in one of these counties, then please apply for our services if you like what you see. All counseling can be provided remotely by phone, email, video conference. You don't need to leave your office. To apply, all you need to do is go to norcalptech.org. You can see that on the slide here. Click on the red Apply Now button on the page banner and follow the instructions through step 7. If you've ever worked with the SBDC, that's a small business development center in our region, or even in California in general, you should just instead email me at info@norcalptech.org. I will send you a special link to apply. And just a note that we are one of approximately 94 PTACs nationwide. There's a whole network of them across the country. So if you're not in one of our counties, we encourage you to look up and apply for your own local PTAC. There's quite a few other of them, even in California alone. So they should be able to offer similar services to the clients in your area. A little bit of housekeeping here. Everyone started off muted for the webinar, but we will have a Q&A at the end. So what I'd like you to do is enter your questions into the Q&A window as Liz is going, as soon as they pop in your head, or during the Q&A at the end. And I will read them aloud, and Liz and I will work on getting an answer for you. In this version of Zoom, there is a chat feature and there's a Q&A feature. We want to reserve the chat for if you're having a technical problem. The Q&A is where you want to actually ask your questions. So if you want your question read aloud, please enter it into the Q&A, not the chat, and we'll get to it as soon as we can. This is one more reminder. I said at the beginning, but I'll say it again because we always get questions. We are recording this session, and the slides as well as the video recording are going to be provided to everybody and posted on our website later today. All right, let's hand things over to Liz with no further ado. Thanks, Liz, so much.
Thank you, James. Good morning, everyone. My name is Liz Brazil, and I'm Norcal PTAC Procurement Specialist. I have worked for over 35 years for various transportation agencies, including the Bay Area Rapid Transit, the Alameda County Transportation Commission, San Mateo Transit District, and lastly, the Santa Clara Valley Transportation Authority, where I served as the Business Diversity Manager. I was tasked with a variety of functions, but basically to ensure that prime contractors comply with the federal regulations. BTA Silicon Valley BART extension was a design build project. It was worth over $800 million. There are many outreach to ensure that we meet the 18% DBE goal set on the project, and also to ensure that small businesses are participating. I learned many tips that I wanted to share with you on how to make a great first impression. So let's get started by reading this disclosure. The information provided herein is accurate to the best of my ability at the time of this presentation. Some or all of the provisions mentioned herein could or may be changed by the current administration with or without prior notice. So let's get started. I wanted to give you a little bit of background about this presentation. We actually got this started last year in anticipation of Norcal PTAC's annual Procurement Expo. It's a great opportunity where all the agencies are there and you as a client or small businesses can attend and participate. But there's so much have changed since the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic. And it's still true that this presentation is still very important, and maybe even more in these trying times. In this agenda, I will include the following topics. Why is marketing important? We're going to go through an overview of capability statement. Third, we're going to learn how to write a high-level power speech. Learn how to present and make great first impressions. Okay? So, why is marketing important? You know, one of the things I always like to talk to my clients is, do you have a marketing strategic plan? And a lot of times they would say, yes, we do. Okay, now what is in that and why is it so important, you know? So one of the things about marketing plans is your goal is to share information, okay? And then you want to engage your customers so that they're aware of what you're doing and making connections. You want to build your reputation about your business and then sell whether you're you know, what your product or service. And lastly, to grow your business. These are all the elements that should be in your marketing strategic plan. And decide, you know, how much time and resource you want to put in there, how much money do you want to put in there, because these are a commitment in growing your business. Marketing your business. There's many ways you can do it, depending on your budget, your resource. One of them, you can pay a lot of money for paid publication or advertising. It could be online, hard copy, or any other way you can do it. Website. A lot of small businesses, even to this day, sometimes do not have a website. And in these trying times of COVID, the very first thing that your prospects are going to do is check your website. So plan on having a website. Business card. I look at a lot of business cards, and actually in my prior work, I used to keep them. I love going through them and searching for small, disadvantaged, disabled veteran businesses. When I look at the business card, a lot of them don't even put the certification or pertinent information about your business, like you know, your dance card, or SAM registration. You have a lot of realty in your business card. Use the front and use the back. Capability statement is something that I'm going to be discussing in the next slide. And basically, it's also referred to as statement of qualification. It's very similar to a resume. So we'll focus on that on the next slide. Networking. This is one of the things that you probably want to do. You know, I know that now you can't do it in person. You can't just come up to a person, shake their hands. Now you have to be creative. You have to have Zoom meetings. And if it's possible, if you have a contact, do some networking and outreach. As part of a procurement specialist, what we help our clients is to look at federal, state, and local websites and be able to find contracting opportunities. But in addition to that, you also have a capability of learning who the primes are. And there's various ways to do it. In Calprime's Contractors Corner, you can opt in. In Cal eProcure, you can actually register and create a vendor ad. And local agency websites, you can actually go into each website for the county or city agencies and register as a vendor. There's a lot of things going on right now, but sometimes a project has a pre-bid or pre-proposal meeting. Attend those if you can, especially, you know, a lot of those are now Zoom meetings. The nice thing about having a pre-bid or pre-proposal meeting is it gives you the capability of obtaining the list of attendees. Some of them is mandatory so that you'll see all the primes. But even though they're not a prime and they're a subcontractor, you can actually meet with them, maybe partner in doing a proposal to the prime. And lastly, this is one of the things I always recommend. You know, if you meet the criteria for SBE, which is Small Business Enterprise, or Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, or Disabled Veteran, or anything, get certified. The reason for that is it gives you the capability to be added in a database where the prime contractor or our agency personnel can look and find you. Because that's one of the things that you want to do about marketing your business, is to be able to be discovered by the prospects or customers, potential customers, right? Okay. Now, Norcal PTAC will assist you with your capability statement. As I mentioned, this is often referred to as statement of qualification, which is similar to a resume. And the things in there is, you know, basic core competency, your past performance, or what I also consider as proof. Differentiators, you know, what makes you so different and you want to stand out from other competitors. And a lot of times too, you want to add your company data, you know, something about the founders, the CEO, or something that makes it really, really special. And of course, you have your pertinent codes. There's two types of codes that you can include in there. And I'll show you those. Basically, is the North American Classification System, or North American Industry Classification System, which is referred to as NAICS code, or also the UNSCSC code, and those are also available in any certification that you may have. So the nice thing about this presentation is we do have some links that you can go to. So if you want to view the prior webinar on how to write a capability statement, you can click in here. But also, Lilac, one of our staff, was able to put together a Word document. So here is the Word document and a sample template. And of course, if you click in there, you can download it. There's so many things you can do about this, but the most important is that, you know, your capability statement, your core competencies, your differentiators, your key clients, your fast performance, and then you also have a company snapshot of all your different, like the cage number. You are registered with SAM, put your cage number in there. You have your DUNS, include your DUNS number. Anything else that you'd like to share when it was established? You know, these are information that is useful. Codes, as I mentioned, you know, the NIC code is commonly used. It's based on the United Census. So it classifies the type of work that you do. And also the UNSBSC code, which is a code commonly used by the state of California. So if you're searching in Cal eProcure, you will have those information. And of course, you know, certification. If you are a certified small business, women-owned business, disabled veteran, disadvantaged business enterprise, include those, because a lot of times the project has specific goals that they must meet. And in order to get credit, you've got to be a certified firm. It doesn't mean you can't bid on a project or participate in a project if you're not certified. It just means you cannot be counted toward the credit. And anything else, you know, as I mentioned, include your company website, because it's one way for them to quickly search for you and look for you. Okay. What is an effective power speech? Okay. And as I mentioned, it's a short version of your capability statement. And it could range from 30 to 45 seconds, highlighting your business. And the nice thing about it is, you know what? You can modify it as many times as you want, right? So when you meet somebody in certain specific areas, you can modify your speech to tailor it to that specific prospect. Is it for everyone? There's no denying that's probably not for everyone, but most of the time we're forced to make it anyway. One of the things is, you know, you must construct it well and deliver it with confidence, because they will know if you're nervous. They'll know if you're not passionate about the type of work that you do. So, you know, construct it well and deliver it with confidence. Okay, what should be in your power speech? This is a lot of things that you have to really, you know, think about and consider. You know, the value, what value? And basically, it's a type of company and service that identifies your company. You know, so look at the value. Proof. This could be your past performance or key clients or something that you accomplished that you're proud of. Right? Differentiators. Share information that makes your company equal. Okay? I provide this service. Then share something that makes you different. Okay? That will differentiate you from any other businesses that perform the same thing. So that's important. Control, you know, a lot of times people really have to consider this is a two-way engagement. Okay, you can control where this goes, and you can say, you know, do you mind if I meet with you at a later time? And also, you know, this is a time that you can actually collect information of what your prospects need. So control it and make sure that you're mindful that it is a two-way engagement. Questions to consider. And I'm going to try to say this again, you know, because I think it's very important. Sometimes we miss it. What is the value of your company or product? What proof do you have to support your value? What will differentiate your company from others? engagement. This is one way. This is why I mentioned it's two-way communication, because you want to have reciprocal communication. Find out what they need and how you can add value. And once you've asked these questions, it will be easier for you to put together a power speech. So I want to give you a few minutes to take a look at this because we have two samples. This sample, I'm going to read it out, but look at the difference between the first sample and the second sample, okay? So let me just move this. Oops, I'm sorry. So in here it says, hello, my name is John Smith from ABC. We are an engineering consultant organization that pioneers the use of remote sensing technology. Our team of scientists and engineers actively collaborates with NASA, IBM, AT&T, Planet, and others. We bring innovative products and services to the market. Our consulting services assist with infrastructure projects. What makes us different is our system efficiently improves how infrastructure is built, maintained, and inspected. We deploy drone technology, satellite imagery, artificial intelligence for infrastructure inspections for the power, transportation, and telecommunication industries. But before I go any further, can I ask you a question about your agency? I have visited your website and would like to know how our company can help you deliver your project. Okay, so that's the first one. The second one is, and again, take your time, and hopefully you don't mind if I read it off also. Hello, my name is John Smith from Drilling and Boring, Inc. We specialize in earth retention, support, mining, tunneling, shaft construction, ground treatment, dewatering, and architectural. Our past projects include BART tunnel improvement, San Francisco Metropolitan Transportation Authority tunnel, and Santa Clara Valley BART extension project to Santa Fe. We have projects ranging from large to small, routine to challenging, with and without compression. Our goal is to provide the most economical and efficient solutions in geotechnical construction. And again, we're just going to follow. Before I go any further, can I ask you questions about your agency? So why are these good examples? The thing that's common between the two is it did briefly introduce. It had a brief introduction about yourself and your company. It describes what your company do and the value that you add. It provides proof of your value. We have projects with BART, AT&T, and so on. So it did provide proof of the value. But the difference between the sample 1 and sample 2 is what differentiates from other businesses. And the thing about sample 1 is it gave you an in-depth. What makes us different is our system, okay? So they started out by making themselves equal. We provide consulting services to assist you with infrastructure projects. So does many other businesses out there, especially if you're an outreach event where there's hundreds of people. But what he mentioned is what makes us different, okay? And this is the part where I believe it's different between sample 1 and sample 2. Sample 1 is better because it differentiates them. Sample 2, we have projects ranging from large to small, routine to challenging. You know, our goal is to provide the most economical and efficient solutions to geotechnical solutions. It did not provide me of what type of services. You know, this is so like their mission and goal. And so that's why I would prefer sample 1, sample 2 versus sample 2. But at the end, you know, what you want to do is you want to relate and convey. Relate and convey. So, brief introduction, describe your company by identifying the value that you do. Provide proof, differentiate from other businesses, take control, outline next steps. And what I wanted to share with you also is, as a business diversity manager, I work with many prime contractors, and as I mentioned, you know, when I was with BART VTA, a prime contractor came up to me and said, Liz, you know what? During our outreach event, we met many, many good prospects. And one of the ones that I met is actually a photographer. She provides photographic services. And, you know, I kind of scratched my head and said, oh, you know what? I don't want to go through this because, first of all, in order to have a DBE or SBE, you have to have a commercially useful function. What does a photographer add to the project? So apparently she made such a good impression to the prime where he actually contacted me directly, and he mentioned that, you know, they're not just a regular photographer. They bring experience and value to the project. Do they? Can you explain? Enlighten me, you know, what value would they add? They said that they bring experience in project management to the construction site with their cameras. In addition to the work activities, if they see something that will increase the schedule, cost, or risk to the project, they will photograph it and bring it to their attention. They add value to the construction project by providing digital photos, video documentation, and aerial photography to capture those areas of potential risk before they negatively impact the project. How can you argue with that? You know, they add value to the project, and by doing that, they were added to the contract, and, you know, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So I said, yes. I probably had the best looking report submitted to FDA because of the fact that they were able to describe the progress of the project for each phase. And keep in mind, it's the design build. So from the inception of design, you know, to the construction phase, they were able to document it. So those are one of the things that's probably a successful story about how to make a good first impression. And they did that by following the simple rules of, you know, value, proof, differentiating you from other ones, and also control, you know, taking the next desired action. Oh, okay, cold calls. Is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? I would probably say yes and no, okay? And as I mentioned, I was a business diversity manager, and I was tasked with the various programs. We had small business enterprise program. We have the disadvantaged business enterprise program. So once in a while, I would get a call and say, Liz, you know, I provide this type of services. I would like to be part of your project. Is there any contracting opportunities? Okay, sometimes, I'm in the middle of completing my report. Sometimes I'm meeting with my staff. Having a cold call is not a good idea. But if I had a special procurement that I just advertised looking for a specific service, and we have a small business goal or a DBE goal, and you're calling me and say, Liz, I saw your advertisement. I'm a DBE. I'm a small business. I provide this type of services. I can add value to your project. Can you give me information? And if we have information, I can provide that. If not, I can forward them to another person who is a contract manager. Or in some cases, like the design build project, where they're constantly adding subcontractors throughout the life of the project, I can connect them to a prime and help them look if there's any possible opportunities for them to participate as a sub. So there's many ways you can look for prime contractors besides contacting the procurement office of the agency. You can look in Norcal PTACs. As James mentioned, we have a lot of resources there. So in Norcal PTAC, we have federal, state, and local contracting. So there's a tab under resource, and then there's federal contracting. Second, if you go and search for a list of primes, there's a lot of advertisements that will have primes looking for help tab. So you click on it. For local, normally they would have advertisement and say the list of document takers. These are potential primes. And then sometimes too, they would have a tab that says a list of bid holders. Participate in pre-bid, pre-proposal meetings. It's really important. Sometimes they're mandatory, so you can see all the potential prospects. Participate in outreach or networking events. Right now, it's kind of difficult because of COVID-19, but Norcal PTAC also has some partnership and collaborations with some of the primes, where the primes will actually have a webinar and discuss potential contracting opportunities. And by participating in this Zoom outreach, you have contact with a prime who's looking for help. A lot of these two, we're here to help you. And this is just a brief overview. If you need help in finding prime contractors, please sign up for Norcal PTAC and work with one of the counselors. Oh, mentor project programs. A lot of agencies like Caltrans actually have mentor project programs where you will sign up, and if accepted, you could be a protege or a mentor, so that you have monthly or quarterly meetings that you meet and discuss with a prime, and it's an excellent, excellent way to meet them. Okay, so useful tips. Read people appropriately for the context. And again, you can change and custom your power pitch. Practice active listening. This is probably the most important. For me, working for over 35 years, I like to engage with people, and I like to hear what they have to say. And it goes a long way, when you have a small business who's actually listening to what you're telling them. So that's important. Keep them interested, okay? And it's one way. I know sometimes they're very busy, so you have to be mindful of their time. But keep them interested about your product. Be passionate. Leave them wanting more, you know. And leave them your business card and capability statement. But sometimes, too, if you're in a huge outreach event, which we don't have anymore, but sometimes you can leave your business card and your capability statement. Your capability statement is a live document. You know, keep that in mind. It's like a resume. So if you're applying for a specific position, you may want to tailor it and tweak it and say, you know, here's my resume. Or capability statement is similar. You know, if there's new information, you've just been recently certified, put them in. Maybe you had a new project that you just completed, put them in. So it's a live document, and always keep updating it if you have a chance. Follow up. And, you know, especially in huge events or even Zoom meetings, or sometimes you run into somebody, you want to follow up. I know sometimes when I get an email, it goes into my junk mail. And don't just assume they received it and they read it. Follow up. So I would suggest a multi-tiered follow-up. 30 minutes, you know, send them a quick email. You can even do it in your phone. One-line thank you, stating that you'll follow up within a day. The second one, the next day, do a brief summary of your discussion so that they will remember who you are, because they've met so many people. And, you know, unless sometimes with me too, it's like, were you wearing a red dress or were you wearing a red tie? And again, you know, because there's so many people that you meet, and just a brief follow-up and to touch base, you know. Don't try to sell your products or services, but just let them know, you know, it was really nice meeting you. And, you know, if there's a chance, if we can meet for lunch, or if you can talk briefly through Zoom, or if you can invite some of the procurement or other departments, you know, those are really helpful. And 7 days, you know, send them an article, or, you know, send them a little answer to one of their problems and how you can help them solve it. And, you know, this will make you stand out because you're providing a solution or a value to the project. And 1 month, you know, follow up and help educate your prospects. They may not have any opportunities for you when you first met them, but all of a sudden, they just had a new budget, and one of their programs, the project has been approved by their board, and now they may have opportunities. So always follow up with your prospects. Okay, this is tips, you know. And again, there's no right or wrong. And as you may know, I have a strong accent, and speaking in front of people is probably not my first choice, but, you know, it's a work in progress. And one of the things that, you know, I try to keep these tips, keep it short, be positive and persuasive. Don't share cost problems or issues that you ran into, or, you know, have such a difficult time contacting your departments or your agency. No, we don't want to hear that. You know, we're always so responsive. But again, you know, I would not try to share anything that's negative. Know your audience. You know, search. Right now, we're in this social media world. Try to learn who the audience is, who the project managers are, who you should contact. be flexible and tailor your speech. You know, that's one thing I do as your procurement officer. I do a lot of search about your company before I do our initial consultation, so that I'm aware of what you do, what you're capable of, and what your needs are. So, and then the fifth one is communicate clearly. And, you know, that's something that you should work on. I'm still working on mine, and hopefully you understood what I'm trying to convey here. Convey and relate. Write it down. Memorize it and use it. You know, a lot of times, you know, they say, okay, I written down, let's memorize it, use it. Practice on your family, practice on your pets, you know. One thing too I shared with my client is, I said, if you don't have anyone, you live by yourself, take a video, you know, and practice that way. Be focused, don't ramble on, know when to stop. And again, practice, practice, practice. And don't worry, because even though you deliver your first speech to one person, you could learn when you go to the next person. So, you know, in the next few minutes, it's like, oh, I messed that one up. But don't worry, because the next person that you meet, you can improve it, right? And so I think that's all I have. And hopefully you enjoyed, and that, you know, hopefully this will help you in preparing your high-level speech and making a first great impression. Thank you so much, and I appreciate you taking the time. So I'm going to turn it over to James.
Liz, thanks. That was really, really awesome. I appreciate that. I'm just going to take a couple seconds here to go over, just to remind you about our calendar. We've got a bunch of webinars coming up, and we've been doing a lot in October. Next one is October 21st, Government Contracting 101. Then we have a federal procurement fraud overview for practical insights. Might be more useful than you'd like to think. That is on October 22nd, the following day at 10 a.m. Then we have a intro to government contracting for woman-owned business. This is the second part in a duplicate set of webinars on the 27th. Then we have intro to SBIR/STTR funding. So if you're in innovation and tech, you're looking for this specific sort of grant funding from the federal government, take a look at that. That's on October 29th at 10 a.m. And you can find all of our events as we post them on our website at our website, norcalptech.org/calendar. All right, so now we have time for the Q&A. We got about 15 minutes or so. So I see that there are a couple questions already entered. Please, if you have any questions, go ahead and enter them in the Q&A, not the chat, and we will answer them aloud. So let's start out here. An anonymous attendee is wondering, as a San Francisco SBE and WBE, how do I get registered as a local agency vendor, and what types of opportunities are available with that?
Okay, so the first thing I would recommend is sign up for Norcal PTAC, and we can conduct an initial consultation where we can share all of these contracting opportunities, whether it's local, state, or federal. In the local area, we have a list of the cities and government websites. So for example, you may be interested in the County of San Francisco or the City of San Francisco. So by clicking on that link, you will automatically be directed and you can register as a vendor. So I know it takes a lot of time to go over it, but if you register, we can explain it a little bit more one-on-one and actually help you navigate through that.
Right, thanks, Liz. Next question. Lisa is wondering, how can you make a good first impression now that we are in COVID-19 and can't meet with primes in person?
Well, that's where I kind of shared also the cold call, why it's good and why it's not good. So in a couple of federal, state, or local procurement, you would have postings of current opportunities. And by clicking on those, you can actually search for prime contractors or potential partnering with a subcontractor. And by knowing their email, their phone number, you can start by calling them and say, you know, I'm interested in this project. Here's the list of services we provide. Do you have time? If they don't, then do you mind if I follow up with an email sharing with you our capabilities? And if they say yes, you know, then the next step is for you to actually put together a short introduction similar to what you would do in a high-level power speech and attach your capability statement. But those are ways that you can do it is, you know, search for federal, state, and local opportunities, and then search for agency information, prime contractors or subcontractors, and start marketing your business to them. Hopefully I answered those, but again, I can go more into detail. So sign up if you have not already signed up. But if you're signed up, then let us know. You know, I would like to learn more about how to find contracting opportunities and how do I reach out to prime or subcontractors.
And just to note that you can sign up for your local PTAC if you're not in one of our 15 counties in Northern California. So do look up our service area map before giving application. Unfortunately, we get a lot of applications from out of our service area, which makes me sad. I have to reject them. But there's a lot of good PTACs around, and they all offer these basic services. So, but I'm certainly looking forward to seeing lots of applications after this. Tariq is asking, will PTAC offer the advertisements for the agencies looking for the services my company offers? I can handle that. So we have a couple things. For the general public, anyone can sign up for our newsletter. So you can just contact me. I will add you to our newsletter. In that, we post bid opportunities. If a prime or an agency comes to us and they have an opportunity that they're looking for small business subs or DBEs or something like that, we put that in the newsletter and we send it out once a month. So you're welcome to sign up for that. That is a form of advertising that we do through them. And another thing is, if you are a client with us, we can set you up with a bid match that I mentioned in the beginning. And agencies and primes come to us with opportunities, and sometimes we enter them manually into the system, but it also automatically picks up hundreds and hundreds of opportunities that are being posted all the time, and those will be sent directly to your inbox. So we can certainly connect you with agencies and primes in different ways. So some of the things PTAC does. Do you have anything to add to that, Liz?
No, basically we provide a lot of information, and sometimes too we're contacted by prime contractors to reach out. So I think those are the things that we can do for you.
Yep. All right. Someone's asking, thank you for the wealth of information in this presentation. Will we have access to the link or the files provided in this presentation afterwards? You might have not been there in the beginning. Yeah, we're recording this, and we're going to also give the PDF of all the slides afterwards. And you'll be able to find it on our website at norcalptac.org/webinars. Are there matchmaking events online, seeing that we're in COVID and cannot meet in person? I believe that there are, right? But
you know, one thing I would share with you is we have a PTAC calendar, and we will post those on the PTAC calendar when it becomes available. But right now, I'm not aware of one. Are you, James?
No, we're thinking about doing a virtual matchmaking next year in lieu of our in-person matchmaking that we had planned. So we might ourselves have a virtual matchmaking. The details aren't finalized on that. So but there may be different ones. If they come into our radar, we will share them on our calendar. Our calendar isn't just for our own events; it's also for events from partners and other resources that we think are useful. So, if we see any, we'll put them on our calendar. I have heard of them, though. I've heard that it is possible to do them. Folks have been doing them.
One thing I want to share with you is everything in Norcal PTAC is free. There's no cost. Whether we're helping you on a one-on-one counseling, bid matching, or webinars and training, everything is free. Even when you're registering for certification, applying for certification, DBE, SBE. What I have to say is there's a lot of third party out there that may be charging a fee. So I'd just like to share with you that any assistance you have here, whether it's matchmaking, webinars, training, or any assistance, sign up with Norcal PTAC and we can guide you and help you. Okay?
Perfect. Angelica is wondering, what are the names of the pertinent codes that you mentioned?
There's two codes, the North American Industry Classification System, and then the UN SPSE code is the United Nations, I have it on top of the tip of my head, but I can't remember it right now. But again,
Standard Projects and Services Code. United Nations Standard Products and Services Code.
Thank you, James. And what we can do is we can help you and assist you in finding the codes for your type of services. So those are things that, when you register with Cali Procure, it's good to know your UN SPSE code. If you are doing the federal, like you're signing up for SAM or getting DBE certification, it's good to have your North American Industry Classification System code. And all of the counselors can help and assist you with that.
All right, and I see some folks are already dropping off. I just want to let you know that you're going to be directed to a survey. If you could just fill up that satisfaction survey to let us know how we did, that would be really, really helpful. I know it's a weird Google form link, but it is actually just a perfectly innocent survey you can fill out anonymously if you'd like. But we do have some time for more questions, about 5 minutes. And Karina has a question here. Are there government contracting opportunities for companies that produce food products? I create healthy sweets and treats that are sugar-free, gluten-free, etc.
You just never know. If you sign up with Data SAM, which is a System Award Management System, then you can actually search with it's a Data SAM that has a listing of all of these different types of products. Everybody buys everything, and it could be pencils, it could be paper, it could be razors. They buy everything, including food, whatever products you have. So maybe even school districts may be purchasing that type of food. So sign up and we can help you search who buys that and how you can sell it. Okay?
And I see a question in the chat. Are we available in other states? So Norcal PTAC is one center among 90 plus centers across the country. So if you direct your attention to the slide that's being shared right now, find your local PTAC at aptac.us, find a PTAC. That has a listing of every PTAC in the country. And so yes, we are in different states, not us specifically, but PTACs in general who offer the same basic services. Do we have time? We have time. Do we have any other questions? Not seeing any here just yet. I want to give a second for someone to hurry and type one in if they have a burning question. Thanks for everyone for expressing your appreciation in the chat. We like to hear that. All right, I think we'll cut things off then. Once again, thanks Liz for all the research and preparation and the hard work you've done presenting this material to us. Thanks all the attendees for joining and taking your time this morning. And once again, you will be directed to a exit survey. If you could just fill that out, it's important to our funder, it's important to us, we can improve our services, let us know how we did. And also just another reminder that everyone's going to be getting the PDF of the slides along with a YouTube of the video recording later today. So hang tight, I'll get that out to you via email. It'll also go to our website. So once again, thanks for joining our Power Pitch webinar, and have a good rest of your day.
Thank you so much. Take care.